Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 48 of the Video Games Ahoy podcast. My name is Jonathan Radford, and today I'm joined by Daf Weeks.
Hello.
And Zac Hamilton.
Hello.
How are you doing, guys?
We're good.
Good day, guys.
No Dav Gabe, sadly. He might be able to come along over the course of the next hour. He's having some trouble with his electricity, but he's here with us in spirit. So hopefully Dav will be here in a little bit. But how are you guys doing? You had a good week?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been good. It's been busy. I wasn't here last week, so I feel like I've not done the show in ages.
It was a funny one last week, wasn't it, Dav?
Was it just the two of you?
Yeah, just the two of us. Just the two, and we started off by saying just the two of us.
Yeah, so could you make it if you tried, or?
Oh, we did. Oh,
We
yeah.
did.
we both made it.
But yeah, good week then. Good week. Yeah.
Nice.
I've been playing a lot of new games this week, actually.
Oh, nice.
Because just by timing, I don't know why I've been playing. Normally I only play like one game at a time, but just so happens that I've been like kind of a bit frantic on my games.
There is one game that I know you've been playing. I don't know how much more you've played of it, and I don't know whether you're going to talk about it today. But if you do talk about it today,
I'll briefly talk about it,
Okay.
but I'm not going to go into it until I've had a proper go of it because
Yeah.
I'm only an hour in.
Sure, yeah, and I don't want you to make judgment.
And the other thing is,
yeah.
I don't want to. I'm like, I don't really want to talk about it in general because I don't want to talk myself out of the game or
sure.
because so far I haven't really got a grasp on it. And any gripes that I have, I could then talk myself out of enjoying it as it goes. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah. I'm with you there.
Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, should we talk about the podcast first? Should we get into
What's
that?
happening?
First off, hey to all you people out there, we are Video Games Ahoy. If you know us, then hello, and if you don't know us, then also hello. But for the first time, we are Video Games Ahoy, like I said. We put these podcast episodes out every Saturday morning in the UK. But I imagine it's sometime like it'll be like 3, 4, 5 o'clock, depending on where in America you are, because usually that's when that is the majority of our listeners come from America. I always find that crazy. Yeah, the majority of them.
That is unusual.
Which is very cool.
Love our weird British accents.
Yeah, it's always mistaken for intelligence, but I can assure you, not on my behalf. We put these out every Saturday. And yeah, we also we put them on all the podcast websites. You got Amazon, Google, Spotify, loads of places. And we're also on YouTube as well. If you want to see our faces, we check those episodes out on there as well. And check out our previous episodes because, like I said, we're on 48. That feels. We've been saying it for the last couple of weeks now, but that does genuinely feel crazy.
It's been a year, right?
Yeah, well, it's. I think it's coming up.
Oh,
to
I guess not. No, 48. That's not right. Good maths, Zach.
Well, it is.
It's nearly a year though. In like 4, that's nuts.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Every week for a year.
I know.
I mean, I didn't come last week, but that's not.
Well, actually, I think there was only there's only been like 2 weeks over Christmas where we didn't put I think we put an episode up, but we recorded it like 2 back to back kind of thing.
Oh, we did. Yeah,
it was like a predictions episode we did as well, which is really cool. But yeah, check us out. We're also we also have a Discord with all of our friends and patrons and subscribers. So come in and check us out. I'll put the link in the description as well. It should be down there if you want any of that information. And we'll talk about the Patreon page as well at the end. And like I said, it is the 48th episode of the podcast. On the 50th episode, which is coming very soon in the next 2 weeks, we are going to do a live podcast on Twitch. We've just been chatting about what we can do for that, which we're really looking forward to. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think. It's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you come and check us out on there. At this moment in time, I think it's going to be... I'm fairly sure it's going to be the 7th, because we normally record on a Wednesday, so it should be on that Wednesday. So yeah, check us out, and we'll talk more about the Patreon page at the end. Now, should we get into some news, gents?
Yes.
Tell us
cool.
things.
Right, so we'll start off with a bit of Sony news. And this actually has come out... this has not actually been confirmed, but it does seem to be... true, and it is kind of sad now, because I want to talk about... I actually mentioned to you guys a couple of weeks ago, maybe only one, I think it might have just been Dav actually, but I've been wanting to play Metal Gear Solid for a while, but the only way you can play Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation 5 is PlayStation Now. But on the PS3, you can play like PlayStation 1 games, PlayStation 2 games, PlayStation 3 games, and you can download them digitally as well. PlayStation are now actually going to shut down the PS3, Vita, and PSP stores this summer, and this is kind of sad, like I said, for that reason, because there's loads of games that PlayStation 4 that isn't on the PlayStation 4 store and the PlayStation 5 store. So I'm just going to read the story and then we'll have a little chat about it, because I think games preservation is a big thing, and I really don't think Sony are very good at it. Anyway, this is what the article says. That's all according to Games Radar via The Gamer, which cites a source familiar with the situation in a news story on the closures. The PS3 and PSP stores will apparently remain online until July 2nd, 2021, with the Vita store a little way behind them on August 27th. Sony hasn't confirmed these stores closures, so don't run out and buy a bunch of external hard drives or SD cards just yet. But this is something that is they're pretty certain this is going to happen. And like I said, that date is going to be July the 2nd. We have kind of spoken about games preservation previously, and like how important it is now that we're moving mainly away from physical sales onto digital sales. And this is, the problem, really, when the digital store is kind of yanked away from you. Kind of like, how the hell am I supposed to play any game that I can't some physical copies of games on the PlayStation 1 go for like 200 quid. Like some
games go for 200 quid?
Like if it's specifically if it's really hard to get. I mean, there's some 3DS games that go for like £100. Like I've been trying to find. I've been on to you for a while about playing Metroid, Samus Returns, and some people are charging like £60 for that, and it only retails for like 40, and it's only like 3 years old as well, which is mad. But yeah, what do you guys think about that? I know none of us have. I don't think any of us use the PS3, Vita, or PSP apps, their stores, but like. Do you think this is like a worrying trend? Do you think this is something...
I mean, I do have my PlayStation 3 still, because it's plugged into one like another TV in our bedroom. And it does have some games on it that I love playing, you know? I mean, admittedly, no, I'm not buying new stuff on it, but they're gonna close down the store, but you can still play games you already bought.
It's kind of I imagine it's kind of like...
That would be super weird. Imagine that's just like no. Yoink! Full on yoink.
I imagine it's kind of like the Wii, when the Wii closed, the Wii shop closed. But and again, it's kind of like the Virtual Console, isn't it? Like the same with the Switch. We don't have access to a whole load of games that I would personally love to play. I imagine you guys would as well, but
I mean, generally speaking, like big games, like they're mostly... You can mostly get them fairly cheap for the original console, right? Like if you want to go and get Crash Bandicoot 1 on PlayStation 1, you can buy that for like $5, right?
I guess it depends, because it depends on, like, there's one thing about without CDs as well, is that CDs will eventually, they die, like the data stored in CDs die. So those original, like, there's going to be a lot of like original games from like 1995, which are, I don't know. I'm kind of out of my depth here, but like from what I've read, that some of them might just start dying purely based on age.
But then presumably at that stage, then Sony goes like, all right, it's time. Let's release those games for some money, because that's the main thing, right? I mean, I kind of, they it's a different era now where big companies can make money from games that in the past you would only ever buy secondhand. You know what I mean? Like. And that's fine, but...
Yeah. Because would you say we're the first real big nostalgia generation? Like...
For video
in terms
games.
of games?
For video games. I think maybe the generation before us as well.
Maybe a couple of years... I mean, it'd be millennials, I guess, would be...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Although, no, I don't know.
Like,
I don't know, if you're in
nostalgic about like Commodore 64 games, and I don't think it's quite the same.
I just guess I'm thinking about the output of games that came out from like the late 80s.
I mean, definitely for the resurgence. I mean, because like like we're talking about like sort of NES beyond, rather than like, as you say, like Commodore 64, that pre-era. I wonder. I would love to hear someone. I'd love to hear from someone who, jumped onto computer games kind of before. I mean, because obviously now computer games are pretty mainstream by all intents and purposes.
Yep.
And the NES era would have been more mainstream than the Atari and Commodore 64. I'd love to hear from someone who was in that niche in the very early days, because I don't feel like I meet that many people who are that interested in that stuff. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, it's a really good point, because I know, like, and this is slightly off topic, but like the big crash in the 80s with the video games, I imagine there was a lot of people who actually would just put off video games for life around about that point. Because oversaturation was like a huge problem. People were just like, no. I think it was E.T.
That was, like, I was going to say.
That was the big one. I was
someone played E.T. and they were like, nope, never again, no more games.
I'm done. That's it. But yeah,
I had to explain the E.T. thing to my dad on the stream the other night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was really funny.
I said that. I think it was you streamed last night, didn't you? Oh no, not like was it?
The night before last.
Night before last, yeah, because last time we did Broforce. But like, I actually really enjoyed watching your dad play. He was so chill, man. He was so chill. But yeah, hopefully, like you say, Zach. I think one thing the Xbox and Microsoft do really well, to be fair, is games preservation is a big thing. You can play games way back on the newest Xbox as well. They do an amazing job of that. They do the best job out of all, I guess, of the big three by far.
Well, it's because I don't really know if I have an opinion on whether I think it's a good or bad thing about Sony then profiting off really old games, because in a way it is their it's that's kind of their right to be able to do that. Yeah. But it's very different to what we're used to. We're so used to, if you want to play an old game, you go and buy a secondhand copy, and that's great and it's cheap. And I mean, I've built like a big part of my as many people who watch me on Twitch will know, I basically only play games that are at least a year old, let alone anything else. But it's going to be a very different landscape, I think. Yeah. It's all part of that sort of digitalization of media. Yeah,
it's going to be really, I think it is going to be really interesting over the next, because we've been seeing this coming for a long time, but I think we'll definitely see it like sort of amp up over the next couple of years, especially like, I think I would say the last year probably could be a huge turning point because I imagine the majority of a lot of game sales will be digital rather than physical, because they just didn't have access to buying it physically. I was going to buy Animal Crossing physically, but then obviously like the pandemic happened, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to leave the house. I'm going to download it digitally, and that's it. But yeah, we'll I guess we have to.
Do you think that happens. Sony will ever do an updated PS Now, or do you think that'll just die?
I don't know, because there's not like I said, man, with like Metal Gear Solid. Okay, I keep going back to this because this is something I've been aware of a lot recently, because I've been wanting to replay all those games, but I don't want to start from 2. Like, if I'm going to replay Metal Gear Solid, I want to play the first one and go through the 5 games, but I can't, because unless I buy it physically, I don't have anything to play it on as well, because my PlayStation 1 and 2 are back in my house in Port Talbot, so I don't even have any. Even if I bought the game physically, I couldn't play it. So it just seems weird that they would just go, here's a collection of PlayStation 1 games, PlayStation 2 games on PS Now. They're just not there, but yeah, it's a big shame. But all right, let's move on to a new story, and this is actually very, very new. Again, this is unconfirmed, but I'd be interested to see what they do with it. But apparently, Microsoft is going to buy Discord. This is an article by Bloomberg's Dina Bass and Katie Roof. So basically, they are in talks to acquire Discord for $10 billion, according to people familiar with the matter. So Discord has been talking to potential buyers, and software giant Microsoft is in the running, but no deal is imminent, said the people who asked not to be identified, as they always do. I can totally understand why. But representatives from Microsoft and Discord declined to comment. This is an interesting one, especially because we've definitely seen over the last year how reliant we are on technology to like converse and stuff. Do you see this as how do you guys see this going? Because I'm sort of uncertain. Do you think it's something they'll integrate into their Xbox Live service? Do you think this is just Microsoft in general? Because this is Microsoft buying it, not necessarily the Xbox brand, I guess. Because Microsoft owns Skype, right?
I think they're just going to own it, and the only thing they'll do with it is make some very easy integration options.
Yeah.
Between playing on an Xbox and communicating on Discord.
It's a really good show.
I don't think they're going to keep it and only use it exclusively for Xbox content. It just not going to work like that. In the same way that Facebook have WhatsApp, but they're not. They didn't just turn that into Messenger, did they?
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's that kind of thing.
I think it's too risky. Like Discord is obviously it runs perfectly well on its own. They don't need to do anything to it, and I don't think there's much of a benefit in them integrating it with Microsoft, other than, as you say, just making it easy for them to connect.
Yeah. Like literally just putting a button in share to Discord.
Yeah, that's actually that's such an easy thing that they can just put into the Xbox exactly. Series X.
Like that's the point. I have no idea how Discord makes money, because they don't advertise, do they? There's no adverts on the platform.
No, they don't, do they?
No, they don't.
So I have no idea how, and it's free to use.
I guess
no idea how they make money.
I think you can. I think you can buy like premium versions of Discord.
There's a premium option.
I think you can, but I could be wrong there. But I mean, I imagine that's probably how. And I guess I don't know. Maybe just on the website, that's where they get advertisements and stuff. But I don't actually know. It's a really, really good point.
I never thought about that until just now.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Wow. But yeah, I mean, it looks like Microsoft could be buying them anyway. So I guess we'll have to see what happens there. So Zach, this one's probably more for you than anyone else. And Resident Evil's 25 years old.
Oh,
25 years old. I think it celebrated its birthday a couple of days ago. So there's a couple of announcements.
Dope.
So Capcom said, today is just the start of the celebration. We have lots to look forward to over the next few weeks. Here's just a slice of what to expect. First up, we have a major announcement to kick things off. A new Resident Evil showcase will be dropping this April. We don't want to spoil any surprises, so we'll leave it to all of you to speculate on what this upcoming presentation might contain. Don't leave it to people. They'll start expecting Resident Evil 9. Just don't do that.
No.
They've also said,
all I know is that it'll have a lot of very tall booby ladies.
Yeah, as long as that happens.
Yep, that's all we want.
Money.
The high-octane action of Resident Evil Reverse is getting open beta as well. If you missed the closed beta or simply want to know what the game is all about, the new open beta will be coming to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Steam from April 7th to April 11th. So, I guess this is just a conversation really about Resident Evil. I was going to ask, because I've said this before, I've always been intrigued by Resident Evil, and I've actually played a couple of the games, but I've never completed one, and I don't know why, because it definitely seems like they're always great games. Well, most of the time they're great games. Zach, which one's the best one?
Which is the best one?
Is it 4?
It depends. It depends. Probably 4 is it's probably the best one, only in so much as it has the broadest appeal and did. Ooh, I was gonna say it did the most for contributing to gaming. That's not true. 1 did an enormous amount for contributing to the horror design thing, but
incredible voice acting.
In terms of things that are widely popular, Resident Evil 4, like widely popular right now, Resident Evil 4 is. I've talked about it before, but Resident Evil 4 is responsible for every third-person shooter that you've ever played after 2004, which I think is when it came out. I guess that's probably 4.
I said this before. I think the only ones I've actually sat down and played, and I'm saying played for like an hour at tops, is the first one. Code Veronica.
Code Veronica.
That's actually the game I probably put the most hours into. It was on PlayStation 2. I think it was way back when. What was the other one? I think that's. I played 4 for a while, but it did feel pretty janky going back and playing it for the first time.
I was gonna say, that's the thing. There are other games now that have done Resident Evil 4 kind of better. Yeah. Although I do think it is still really punchy. It's just a little bit. It still uses the tank controls thing, which is a bit clunky.
It's the controls. It wasn't like the game itself was fine, but the controls were a bit frustrating for me personally. But Daf, what about you? Are you like a big Resident Evil fan?
I mean, I like it, but like you, I've not really played the entire series or close to it. I certainly had the first one on the PlayStation and the second one. The second one I prefer infinitely.
Mm-hmm.
I want to play the remake, but I just not got around to it. I always see it for like 15 quid, so I definitely should try it. Yeah.
I then got the remake of the original on GameCube, which is brilliant. And I just remember playing that going, oh God, how have they done this? Yeah. This is amazing.
It still looks beautiful to this day.
It looks so impressive for a GameCube game. I remember seeing it going, the lighting, the texture, it didn't compare to anything else on the GameCube. It was like, whoa, nice.
GameCube did that with Metal Gear Solid as well, didn't they? Was it Twin Snakes? They did the original Metal Gear Solid on the GameCube, and apparently it was for a lot of people any jank from the original game was completely completely removed and improved on the GameCube version. But I never played it. But Resident Evil. Zach, do you reckon you'll play number 8?
Mate, I don't know, because I would probably have to get a PlayStation 5, and I don't know if I'm going to get one anytime soon, or it's on Xbox and PlayStation, I guess.
Yeah.
And also they're bringing out the new PSVR 2 in the summer, which Callum told me was going to happen.
He did.
He did tell me a year ago, whenever it was we were talking about it.
He actually mentioned it on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. He was like, "Oh, it's going to be here soon." Yeah. And literally the next week,
it was like 2 days later. It was announced. I'm guessing you can probably play it on the old PSVR, except for the new PSVR has the nice new controls.
Oh, they look amazing, don't they?
Which, I mean, the first one should have had in the first place. Like, it's stupid that it doesn't in a lot of ways, because all the other platforms do. And I guess they were trying to keep the cost down, and I actually think that's part of the reason why I have one. So in a way, I can't really complain. I think though that Resident Evil has a bit of a bad habit of coming up with a really good idea and then exhausting it. So the first idea, obviously the sort of fixed camera angles, tank controls, puzzle, sort of survival horror thing, the actual coined the phrase survival horror, and then they did a lot of them, and then a bunch of other companies did very similar games, and it kind of became tiresome. And then they did Resident Evil 4, which was the over-the-shoulder shooter, and then they did 5, which wasn't as good, and then 6, which really wasn't as good. And I wonder if maybe that might happen with the first-person sort of thing.
Wear it out.
I don't know, though. I don't know. Because in a way, the way that Resident Evil 7 works is just Resident Evil 1, but from the first-person perspective with modern controls and the option to do VR. So it might be working a little bit off of novelty.
Do you reckon you'll finish the VR? Do you reckon
Say again?
Do you reckon you'll finish the VR? Because I know you mentioned... I think you said your brother, wasn't it? You were going to try and finish
I was going to play it with my brother, but I've decided, actually, we talked about this on the stream, I've decided that I'm going to play it on the stream as soon as the Nuzlocke is over. And then when my brother comes over and play it, he can play it and I'll watch.
Right.
Because I'll know what's coming and he won't, and that'll be fun.
There we go.
Yeah. All right. Well, awesome. Yeah, that's gonna be great. All right, let's move on. We've only got like 2 stories left. And they're both Nintendo, but they're both great. So a new mobile app being developed by Niantic, which made Pokemon Go, is coming to Nintendo next year, to phones, I should say, and it's gonna be focusing on Pikmin. Shigeru Miyamoto was quoted as saying, Niantic's AR technology has made it possible for us to experience the world as if Pikmin are secretly living all around us. Based on the theme of making walking fun, our mission is to provide people with a new experience that's different from traditional games. We hope that the Pikmin and this app will become a partner in your life. They haven't really said what it's going to do, and they've just said that they're making an app with Pikmin, very similar to Pokemon Go with the AR, but like... Yeah, Pikmin Daf, you're probably weirdly you're probably the Pikmin guy. Yeah, the resident Pikmin fan and guy. Like, do you reckon you download this and walk around with your Pikmin pals?
Oh, walk around with my Pikmin pals.
Come on, buddies.
Like, I'm worried that it's going to be too similar to Pokemon Go. Because I can already imagine it now. You're flicking your Pikmin at some AR thing.
Oh yeah.
Because that's what happens in the game. You flick your Pikmin at an obstacle, and then they either kill it or pick it up, or both.
Yeah.
So it might be that. I mean, it'll need to be something better than that for me to be particularly invested in it, if I'm honest. But it does sound novel, and I do like a bit of novelty.
I do always like it as well. And like one thing that I do always appreciate with Nintendo is they always do stuff like this, and it's all about like getting people moving, and they do a really good job actually at Nintendo of like trying to make people enjoy like going for walks and exercise in general. I appreciate that. I think that's great, and if it means that someone who wouldn't have gone for a walk does, then that's awesome. It's not going to be paid, so I'll definitely download it and give it a try. But Zach, how do you still play Pokemon Go?
No, but mostly only because it's a lot of memory, and my phone is the same phone I got when we were on tour after I did not. Really? Yeah, so this is an old phone, and so I can't really so not really, but I was for until really recently actually, and probably I've got to get a new phone quite soon actually, so I'll probably put it on the new phone. I like Pokemon Go for that same reason. I mean, it's quite addictive in so much as like it's like, oh, I've got to get all of this so that I can get this, and then it leads to that and blah blah. But also it kind of takes you off the beaten path. I find myself going like, oh, let's go down here, and I find myself in some place in it. I know this town pretty well. I lived here until I was 18, but I find myself showing up somewhere where I had never been before because I would never. It just takes you in a different direction. So I really like it. But I think I also, I like Pokemon a lot. And I don't really care for Pikmin very much, so I don't know if I'll bother, especially. I think, though, it does have a lot of appeal. I mean, as much as, like, I can see what you would do with it, you know what I mean? Yeah. You have a rocket, and you got to go and get rocket parts, but you need enough Pikmin to get the rocket part. Yeah, cool. Yeah, love that. That'll be what they'll do, I think.
I think I mentioned this back on the when you actually we did a podcast episode where you spoke about Pokemon Go, and I think I remember saying at the time when it came out, me and my brother were in Disneyland Paris, and one thing Nintendo did really well, like, to be fair to them, is like we were just standing in the queue, and he was just catching stuff in the queue, because like there was points you could go to in the queues themselves that Nintendo must have just gone, we know what this is, we'll try and make it so like if you go here you get this stuff, and I thought that was really cool. And like,
were there like associated Pokemon like you got the
Mickey Mouse?
I can't.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say like you got like the Peter Pan ride, and it's all like flying types or something.
Oh, that's a really good show. I actually can't remember, because like I didn't really play it that much. Rosie probably played it more than me, but no, my brother. To be fair, I remember him saying that it was great, and he was like in the queue. I was just like, well, I'm sorted now, because he's just there the entire time. But
I just like the idea of the two of you like going to Disneyland and not going on any of the rides or doing anything, just being like Pokemon.
We were in the queues just to get the Pokemon. We're not actually queuing up for the rides, but yeah.
I'm imagining cool. Pikachu with a little Fantasia hat.
Yeah. That would be cool though if they did like a little partnership of like.
Well, they must be doing it from the Mario world, right? There must be something they'll do like that when they open up the
like
Mario
a little
world
Pikachu, like in a little peach wig.
Yeah, really cool. All right, let's move on to the last story, which is again about Nintendo, and this is about Animal Crossing: New Horizons. And I think 23rd, was it the 23rd or the 17th? Something like one of those days it came out. But it's gone back to number 1 in the UK charts, which is incredible. So it's there we are. It just turned 1-year-old on Saturday, so I think Saturday was the 17th. I think that's the day it came out, or the 18th, something like that. So we got a lot of new social media buzz, and went straight to number 1 on the UK charts. And I think we've said this previously, but I think it's going to be Nintendo's best-selling game on the Switch, probably by the end of the year, which is insane when you think how well Mario Kart's doing as well. Like, Mario Kart sold like 33 million copies, and Animal Crossing is just behind, and only been out a year, and it's still number 1 in the charts. But yeah, absolutely incredible.
It's because everyone wants to get involved on Bunny Day.
Oh, Bunny Day's back. We said this the other day, didn't we? Bunny Day is back, and I am terrified to go back into my game because I don't want to see any more eggs. I'm traumatized.
I did read that they are changing Bunny Day.
Great.
So that there'll be different items that you can craft and that kind of thing, which is apparently a big deal because on all of the iterations of Animal Crossing, every year is basically repeat.
Yeah, repeat, yeah.
So the fact that they're actually updating things as the years go by is testament to how much they are investing into this.
Oh, I think we said this last week, but I'm still so grateful for that game when it came out. And I imagine a lot of people are too, actually. Like, I put a lot of time into that game, and it was just joyful. It was really fun, really joyful.
I swear, in the first few podcasts, we went like a few weeks of talking about it.
Yeah. I think it was the first podcast that was the first game we spoke about.
Was it?
Yeah, I think it was the first game.
Wow.
Because I think, because it must have been because we'd been talking about how we'd been playing it for the previous month for the first episode. So yeah. But yeah, that's it. That's it, guys. That's the news. Do you guys want to talk about any games you've been playing? Zach, should we start with you? Because I think me and Dav have probably been playing mostly similar games. You could tell me I'm wrong, Dav, but Zach, what have you been up to? Because you were here last week.
What have I been playing? I played Tony Hawk's. I played it on the stream, but I didn't play very much of it on the stream. I was just mucking about. Because my friend Quentin, who's a good friend of mine, came and dropped it over for me, and I enjoyed it, but not as much as I thought I would.
Right.
Which is weird because I don't know. I was saying to you guys yesterday, I think on the stream, talking about the difference between that and some of the later games. My personal favorite game, I thought it was Tony Hawk's 3, but I now don't think it is Tony Hawk's 3. I think my favorite is Tony Hawk's Underground, which is story based and a bit silly in terms of the story. So put a pin in that for a second. But the actual gameplay is very like combo heavy. It's very much more of the game is like do a long combo, land on particular, hit certain marks, do certain tricks at certain points on those marks, rather than high scores or there are still elements of high scores and elements of collectathon stuff, but they are smaller. And there are most of the collectathon things are means to have long combos again. There's like bits where you've got a like 5-second thing to get all these items, and the only way to do it is to do a combo. And Tony Hawk's 1 and 2 are not really based around that, and the reason for that is because combos in 1 and 2 weren't very possible. If you go back to the original Tony Hawk's game, you can't manual, you can't revert, so you can't really do very many combos. You get to Tony Hawk's 2, you can do a manual but no revert. 3, you can do reverts, manuals. Now the reason that's important, obviously Tony Hawk's 1 and 2 puts the revert and the manual back in, but all of the
achievements,
all the missions, whatever, are the same as the original game. So they're sort of, it's not like they made the missions with the mechanics they had in mind. And I think that's a little bit of a shame. Because the most fun I think I had actually playing Tony Hawk's was on the stream on Sunday night when I was trying to get a really high score. So I did really enjoy it, and I don't want to put a damper on it too much, but I think that's why it doesn't work quite as well as it could have done. And also the reason why I think they should make more of them, but they're not going to, I don't think. Is that what we decided?
Well,
we decided
we were like, no more. No. There was some news, I think, about.
Yeah, I think Vicarious Visions, they moved from the ones who remade the game, they moved from Activision, the Activision side to Blizzard side.
Right.
And
so I think that's a shame, because I think 3 would actually be much better, because all those missions are based around the fact that you would have manuals and reverts. Same for 4. 4 goes pretty well forgotten, because it's not the best one out of the 4, but still would benefit from that. I think they had an impossible job in a way. I think they did a very good job with what they did by putting those back in, because that's what people remember, but also maintaining all the missions, because again, that's what people remember. But yeah, I think I'm going to keep playing it for a while, because I think I'm going to have more fun just by mucking around and just seeing like what can be done.
Yeah.
I also started playing Final Fantasy, which we mentioned a little bit at the beginning of the show. I played the first hour. It's very new to me because it's a kind of combat that I've never really played.
It's very interesting. Yeah.
It has a little bit of overlap with Final Fantasy 13, which I have played, but it's automatically way better because it's not Final Fantasy 13.
It's probably the most that is probably the most similar combat-wise. I remember a lot of people saying people who play Final Fantasy 7 and love it will probably actually appreciate 13 more because the combat style is so similar. But
But I'm loving so far I can tell you I'm loving the design. The design is beautiful. Everything looks amazing. It sounds amazing. The music is fucking the tits.
Honestly, man, the music just goosebumps constantly. But
I'm liking the kind of like so far where I'm up to. It's very like archetypical, quite like there's this guy and then there's that guy and they don't like each other because there's this going on, and it's it's hyperbolic and that's really fun. I really enjoy all of that. I think the main thing for me, actually, I need to get into the story more because, as I say, I'm only an hour in, so I haven't really got a handle on like what's going on. And I need to get to grips with the combat because so far, I don't know what I'm doing. I've already died, and it's the first hour of the game, which seems like I shouldn't have died yet. And like...
It's not easy, man. Like
it's hard.
It's not an easy game. I remember playing it on normal, and I was like, there were some points like, whoa, this is a lot hard. Like, this is harder than I thought normal was going to be.
Well, it's interesting. Yeah, I put it on hard because I was like, oh, I'm sure it'll be all right. Like, that'll be fine. I thought. Not fine.
Just, I was really hoping that you just shake your head so anyone listening would just be like, Zac shakes his head because it's not true.
Yeah, we'll put a little... and I finally survived some characters on this War of Mine. That was the other game I was playing, and I'm very proud. That was a lot of fun. Definitely. That was because of the show, because Dav recommended it, and it's great. A really very good recommendation.
I was going to ask you about, did you want to give it, because we couldn't give an update on Nuzlocke last week, so did you want to give us an update on what's been happening?
Dav wiped was the main thing. We haven't played this week, but Dav wiped last week, and I thought I was going to wipe, but I didn't. We've had to adapt our rules a little bit. So, like, because we had this whole thing where if we get to a gym, whoever beats the gym leader first kills off one of the other person's Pokemon. Oof. Now Dav's in his second run, so we're making it so I can't affect him, but if he overtakes me, he can then kill off my Pokemon.
Right.
And if I wipe and have to start over, he is technically ahead of me. That's what we're going with at the moment, because it would be the second run. So there's like, I really can't wipe at this stage. I really can't afford to wipe. But on the other hand, I don't have to rush because Dav's quite a way behind me now.
Yeah.
So it kind of balances out. It's still, I'm actually getting a little bit stressed thinking about it because like, it's so horrible. Like this rule that Dav came up with is mean.
Are you playing? So obviously this comes out on Saturday, but are you going to be playing Thursday and Sunday?
We're going to be doing Friday and Sunday, I believe.
And Sunday, okay.
We were going to be doing Thursdays, but
yeah.
So yeah, that's where we're at.
Awesome, great. Yeah, just because mostly because we hadn't actually heard anything.
Yeah, I haven't heard from me.
That's great. Awesome.
What have you been playing, Johnny?
Well, I was going to say, Dav, should we jointly talk about? Well, I guess actually all three of us can talk about Broforce just briefly. That ending boss, because we talked about it briefly before we started. But like, so we've all been playing Broforce for about 2 weeks now, and you know what? It's been such a laugh. Like, it started off with just me and Dav, and then Zac joined in, and it was so great because I know Zac, Zac, me and you were supposed to play it like weeks ago, but we just never got around to it. And it's been such a laugh. Like, it's absolutely brilliant fun until we got to what now appears to be the final boss, and the difficulty level had gone from like medium to like ultra hard, and it came out of nowhere. How long did we spend? Was it about half an hour? Like, we got to the final boss and then spent the last half an hour of our stream trying to beat the boss, and we were just like, how?
Oh, and we made like no progress as well.
No progress.
We never got it to like even half health.
No, maybe about 3/4 like still health there.
Yeah,
maybe a quarter gone. But
yeah, it really felt like we were missing something.
Yeah, definitely
completely
missing something. So maybe we'll, because I think you two, I mean, Zac, you kind of figured out what to do now, and so has Dav. Actually, you've seen as well. So maybe we'll just do we'll just try and beat the game, and it might only take 10 minutes. We'll see. What we could do is we'll do that first thing on a multiplayer Monday, and then start a different.
Have something
game.
else ready.
Have something else to move into. We'll do that. But yeah. So yeah, we wait till we beat Broforce, I guess. I just wanted to mention that. The other game we've been playing, me and Dav, we just finished it today, is A Way Out. And it was really sad. Like, we had like a really, really hilarious time last week just farting about on a farm. And then this week we started off really funny. We were playing Connect 4 for about 20 minutes. And people were riveted, just stuck with us. We were playing Connect 4 for a while. That was fun. And then it got deeper into the story, and then something tragic happened. And I rewatched the last 15 minutes of the stream, and genuinely my jaw just dropped. I was like, what? Like,
it was a big twisty.
It was a bit and big twist. A bit of a big twist. And I was so sad. I was genuinely really sad at the end, but it's a really good game. Like, Zac, like I said, we were saying, I think you and Bronwyn should definitely give that a go, because like, Dav, you were saying it. I think you put it really well. There's just lots of genres within that action-y type of game, isn't there?
Yeah. I mean, it's not a hard game. It's purely a story game.
I think we died 4 times in total.
Yeah, and only in the last section because suddenly there were guns.
Yeah.
It's not a very long game, hey?
5 hours? 5-6 hours?
Yeah,
5-6. Is it violent?
Yeah, it's not bloody.
I'd say Uncharted level violence, apart from one death.
Okay.
Yeah,
because that's really the only limiting factor when Bronwyn plays a game. She can mostly handle most games. Just doesn't like violence very much, which is it's a bit of an issue.
There's a bit of fist fighting and a bit of shooting. It's certainly not bloody, and
like I said, Uncharted level violence for the last hour. And like I said, the previous 5 hours, not really. You do a lot of chasing. Like, most of the first 2 hours is you escaping the prison. So like, it's I would definitely recommend it to anyone that has got a pal.
It's that company who were doing It Takes Two. Yeah. I'm really excited for that as well. That looks really cool.
Yeah, I was surprised because I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago to Dav, just being because at the time Dav wasn't really streaming, so I was like, oh, do you want to come on and we'll play this game together? I've heard it's good. You don't have to buy the game, you can just download the demo, and I can get an EA monthly subscription for 73p. So we completed that game for a grand total between us of 73p. Which is great. I totally recommend anyone doing it. Dav, did you want to add anything? I know I pretty much talked for most of that. Is there anything you want to add to A Way Out?
No, you got it. It's it's worth the experiment. You know, it doesn't outstay its welcome.
Yeah.
There's nothing quite like it, and that's enough as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think you make a really good point there about like it does not stay its welcome at all. It feels like the perfect amount of time anymore, and like it does get a bit like you can tell that
you get a bit annoyed.
You get a bit annoyed just because it's a little bit janky, but not. You don't have to do enough of the jank for it to be annoying. It's just like, oh, it's a bit janky, but you can deal with it, and it's half an hour and you're done.
I don't think there's ever a section that's more than 10 minutes.
Yeah,
it's
true.
If you don't like this fighty section, well, in 10 minutes time there'll be a sneaky section, and then in 10 minutes time there'll be a drivey section,
and in 10 minutes
time there'll be a shooty section,
and in 10 minutes time there'll be an old boy section, which was amazing. That CR.
There was a great little old boy reference.
There were a couple of references, some great films in there, which I really appreciated. But highly recommend anyone playing it. Daf, is there anything you wanted to talk about?
I have re-downloaded a game that I haven't played for a long time, but loved. Dead Rising 2.
Ooh.
So, like, we're talking about Capcom, we're talking about Resident Evil. It's the other side of the coin, where the zombies are not scary, where the slow kind of creepy pace of it is just thrown out to, like, let's put a bucket with drills on this zombie's head.
I like that game a lot. It's very satisfying.
Stupid. It's pretty satisfying.
Is it the one in the mall?
Yeah. It's like you start in the mall. It's kind of like a Las Vegas strip. So there's a mall and a casino and an arena. And
I never played that game. One of my friends who I lived with in Swansea, and I mentioned Swansea a couple of times. He used to play it all the time, and it did look amazing in the best kind of way.
It's really dumb. And sometimes you need a dumb game like that. I mean, it's so stupid. Like I remember, it must have been 5 years ago when I last played it, and I just remember being a fit of giggles because I've got this surly stunt bike driver who you play as, wearing like a leather jacket, and I'm pedaling around on a unicycle with a dinosaur mask over my head with zombies around. It's just like, what is this game?
The best part about the costumes is that they stay on during cutscenes, so you can be in a really serious scene. Meanwhile, you've got like the Mega Man helmet on. It's just like, it's pretty, and you can be like, they're very, very, very good.
Chuck, you've got to work quicker. Get some Zombrex or your daughter's gonna die. Yeah. Mega Man hat.
Yeah. How far are you into it? Are you playing the story? Or are you just kind of mucking around?
I am playing the story. I'm not far in. I've just a few hours, but
one of the nice things...
I've just found the overly sexualized journalist, and we're trying to clear my name because apparently I'm responsible for this zombie outbreak.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm not.
Didn't do it. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about, or do you want to move on to the quiz?
Quiz.
Let's do the quiz. We haven't done the quiz in a while. We couldn't do it last week, obviously.
2 weeks.
So
last quiz.
One thing I was going to say is I'm going to change the wheel of misfortune just ever so slightly. So instead of like you guys having the option of picking, I'm just going to do whoever it lands on. That's the question we ask. One, because I feel like that just might be saves time, but also it also means that if people aren't here, it still might land on their name.
Yeah.
So like, if Dav's not here now, it might land on his name. That's still the question we've got to ask.
Nice.
It's still going to be worth 2 points.
I like that.
So anyone again? It just makes it easier. It was becoming too complicated.
Streamlining the wheel of fortune.
There you go.
I did it to myself. All right, here we go. Question number 1. In Japan, the original name for Animal Crossing was Dobotsu no Mori. This didn't translate into Animal Crossing, so what was the direct translation? Was it Animal Forest, Animal Ranch, or Animal Village?
Come on, Dav, we should know this.
In Japan, the original name for Animal Crossing was Dobotsu no Mori.
You're actually doing lessons, Zach.
This didn't translate.
I don't know
Animal
either of
Crossing.
those words.
So was the direct? What was the direct translation? Was it Animal Forest, Animal Ranch, or Animal Village?
Then you just bring up my Duolingo.
Could be any of those, couldn't it?
Yeah. I really, really tried hard to think of two that sounded like it could be legitimate.
There's one in there that I don't think there's a Japanese translation for.
Okay.
Which is helpful. But
right. Do you guys have answers?
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Press enter. Zac, go first.
Village.
Daf Weeks.
Village.
It's Animal Forest.
Yeah.
Animal
It couldn't.
Forest.
I was pretty sure they don't have a word. I'm pretty sure they don't have a word for ranch.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure. In fact, you know what the word for ranch is in Japanese? I guarantee this is what the word is. It'll be ranchu.
I was going to say ranchu, innit?
500 pounds. It's
Animal
ranchu.
ranchu.
I was going to say Animal Farm, but then I was like, maybe they wouldn't call it Animal Farm.
They would never call it Animal Farm.
Never call it Animal Farm.
They might though, because they might not.
They don't get the reference.
Maybe not like have the translation for it. Maybe they call that. Maybe they call that place something else.
That's true.
Maybe the Animal Farm's something like, I don't know, Pig King or something.
Yeah, probably.
Pig
oh well, that is the name of the
ruler.
podcast.
Pig King.
I don't know why that stuck on me so much. Pig King.
Yes.
That's a better name.
Pig King. Amazing.
Pig King is a much better name for that.
All right. Question number 2. Pig King. On the original box art of the video game Contra, the 2 men on the cover look suspiciously like famous 80s Hollywood action stars, but do you know which 2? Is it Arnold Schwarzenegger and Steven Seagal, Steven Seagal and Sylvester Stallone, or Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone? So it's 2 of those 3, but which 2? Is it Schwarzenegger and Seagal, Seagal and Stallone, or Schwarzenegger and Stallone? I hope that makes sense.
Yes. Ready.
You don't have to write the whole, you can just...
Oh, I'm avoiding Arnie, just keep going his first surname.
All right. 3, 2, 1, press enter. Zac, what do you got?
I said Arnie and Stallone.
And Daf Weeks?
Yeah, Arnie and Sly.
Yeah, it's Arnie and Sly. I really struggled to find anyone comparable to those two.
He's definitely a few tiers down, isn't he?
Steven Seagal is...
Seagal.
He's not quite up there, is he? But yeah, it's Arnie and Sly.
I think I can picture the Contra. I've never played Contra, but for some reason I think I can picture the front cover of
when
Contra.
you see it. I think it's Rambo and Commando.
Yeah.
Arnie Commando.
That makes sense.
Question number 3. The video game series Metro takes place mostly in the underground tunnels of which ruined city? Berlin, Moscow, or Paris?
Cool. Got this.
Also a series I've not played, but I seem to remember some really cool trailers of this series a few years ago.
Okay, you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, press enter. Zac, go first.
Moscow.
Daf Weeks?
Paris?
It's Moscow.
Damn it.
I was like, I see why you went for Metro. That makes
Metro.
for Paris. Yeah, that makes
Metro,
sense.
Yeah, it's
Oui,
Moscow.
Le Metro.
Yeah, apparently those games are pretty good. And they're on the Switch as well. They apparently really good ports as well, which is quite impressive.
I've played it. I don't know. I just wasn't a fan. Don't know why.
I just saw Pig King at the bottom of my. That's killed me. I don't know why. Oh god. Okay. Which console was the first video game system to provide full support for HD TV? The Dreamcast, GameCube, PlayStation 2, or Xbox? Which console was the first video game system to provide full support for HD TV? So it's that generation. So it's Dreamcast, GameCube, PlayStation 2, or Xbox?
I'll be honest, I didn't think any of them did HD TV.
It's one of 2 because they would be before. Yeah, I would have said none of them, but
I thought PS3 is.
I was shocked. I've got to be honest. I was shocked.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
I think I might.
I thought it was the generation after. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
All right.
I would have
Zac.
said.
So just to make it easier from now on, Zac, I'm always going to go to you first for the quiz. Okay. Just so I don't have to keep saying it. Okay. So 3, 2, 1. Press enter.
Dreamcast.
PS2.
It was the Xbox. And it makes sense if you think about it, because it was the
latest
one.
one.
Yeah, it's the last one. I think it came out in 2002, whereas the Dreamcast came out in 1999.
I just thought that maybe because the Dreamcast also had fucking online support.
It did, yeah. First
you could go on the internet, so I was like, it's the kind of shit that they would have just done.
Yeah.
And you just wouldn't know about it because you know what I mean.
It is sad. Like I always liked the Dreamcast. I always thought that it was a great console.
Yeah, who could forget Seaman?
Oh my god, not that Seaman.
Pig King and Seaman.
Pig King versus Seaman.
Wow. Now we've got an updated title of the podcast. Okay, Pig King versus Seaman. All right, question number 5. This is a question from a channel sub as well. My good friend Carl, who asks, in the original Super Mario Brothers, you got to give me. I'll explain. What color is Mario's overalls and jumper? What color is Mario's overalls and jumper in the original Super Mario Bros? So I would say put overalls and then jump, or O and J, whatever you want. But just make sure there's a distinction between the colors. Okay, you guys ready?
I think it's this.
Okay. You ready,
okay,
Zach?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, press enter. Let me go first.
He's got like brown overalls and like a white jumper.
Dav?
Red jumper, blue overalls.
You're both wrong. So it's red overalls and a blue jumper. They've inverted. So basically,
so hard.
They inverted the colors. They do it because I just checked to make sure it was right because I was hoping I was going to get it wrong. In Super Mario Bros, his overalls are red and his jumper is blue. And then for Super Mario Bros 2, I think it was, they switched the colors back, and they kept switching back and forth until they stuck with blue overalls and red jumper, which is crazy. All right, play that kazoo. It's already here.
Hey.
All right, where's my kazoo? I haven't used this in a while. All right, here we go. You guys ready?
Ready.
So only 1 point you'll get for this, but I hope that you... Okay, I'll explain after... Let's just go. I'll explain. You just have to tell me the game.
Oh, really?
Just the game.
Okay.
Do you want it again, Dav?
Ooh, hang on. Is this a trick question?
Nope.
I got it.
I think this is a trick question.
Okay. Go with what you've got.
You fucker. I hate this.
And what I was going to say is, if you can also give me the title of the song as well, you won't get any extra points for it, but so you're not going to get it wrong if you guess the title. Okay.
Can you do it again for me, just at the beginning?
Oh, yeah. I'll put my kazoo away.
Sorry.
Oh,
I know it. Okay, I got it.
There we are.
This is my favorite one, I think, of all of them.
All right. Yeah, it's my favorite one as well. Because I imagine you've got it. 3, 2, 1, presenter.
Oh,
Zach.
It's Ocarina of Time, Serenade of Water.
Dav.
I thought it was the Song of Time.
It's not the Song of Time, but you've said the right game, so it's fine. Okay. It is Ocarina of Time. It is the Serenade of Water, and it's probably, like you just said, my favorite one. It's really, it's really nice.
They do a really nice version of it in Twilight Princess when you meet, I think she's called Rutella, which is like the dead Zora Queen.
Right.
And they have this really beautiful version. I don't think that Twilight Princess's music is the best, but I think that is one of the good ones.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I nearly hit enter without checking my spelling, and I nearly wrote down Dong of Time.
Oh.
That's a very different game.
That's a very different Zelda game.
No one search that on Google. You will find something quite different.
Okay, question number 7. How long does it take to fully complete Hitman from 2016? Fully complete as well. So, like I said, completionist. I've got 4 answers to make it easy for you. 64, 74, 84, or 94 hours. Completionist. 64, 74, 84, or 94.
I was going to say, just completing it, you can probably do it in 3. You can probably do all the levels once in, probably 2 hours.
Run, bang, bang, done. Let's go.
Yeah.
You guys got answers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, press enter. Zach?
I said 84.
And Dav?
64.
It's 94. 94. 94 hours. And it makes sense. because once you like, I've been looking to see what like I have to do for completionist stuff. There's a lot of stuff you have to do. Like you have to replay some of those levels a good 20 maybe 30 times to get everything. It's ridiculous.
It takes a long time to play those levels.
Yeah. Some of them like take 40 minutes just to beat the level. And it's 11 hours for the main story. 11 hours. That's all. Question number 8. Name that badly described game. Highly suggestible tourist murders swathes of addicts in a swanky underfish sea bowl.
That's good. I like that.
I didn't make this one myself.
Who made this?
This is from someone online wrote it, and I was like, I'm digging that. That's good.
All right, I'm ready.
Daf, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, press enter.
BioShock.
You both got it. BioShock. Yeah, I love that game. I genuinely love that game.
Welcome to Rapture.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? It's just, I don't know how many games have a good a setting as BioShock. Like, just the whole, the theme is brilliant.
Great theme.
All right, here we go. What console generation are we currently on?
Oh, shut up! I hate this.
7, 8, or 9?
Oh, damn it! I never know what generation, because like the way I think of it is like just the generations that I had. We can work this out.
7, 8, or 9? Zach's gonna have his numbers.
3,
subtract.
4. 5, 6.
Sorry, it's Peking versus Seaman again at the bottom. I've written it at the bottom of my board. I just looked down. It's just there. Oh god, I don't know why I find it funny, but it's amazing. All right, do you guys have an answer?
Yeah.
7, 8, or 9? 3, 2, 1. Press enter.
Well,
You both went 8.
8. I counted Nintendos.
It's 9.
It's 9.
It's 9.
Well, what are we missing out on there then?
Hang
on. Tell me if I'm missing something out though. If I'm counting Nintendos, right?
You counted the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, well, yeah, it would have been 7, and 8 would be Switch 2. NES, SNES, N64, GameCube.
But it goes pre-NES though, doesn't it?
Is that what we're doing?
I think it does go pre-NES.
Wii U, Switch 2.
I think it does officially go pre, but there is 9 according to what I read on Wikipedia. All right, this is it. This is the last question. This is the Wheel of Misfortune. Ooh. You ready? Can you see this? Okay, here we go.
Hold it up a bit. There we go.
Here we go. The Wheel of Misfortune. Here we go. Daf Weeks' question.
Daf Weeks question. We haven't had a Daf Weeks.
We haven't had a Daf Weeks question. So this is a Daf Weeks question. What is the name of the protagonist in the Grim Fandango?
Fuck.
I love how quickly Daf Weeks wrote that down. And Zach was just like,
I saw someone play it once for about 30 seconds.
Steven?
Could be Steven.
All right.
Ridiculous.
3, 2, 1. Press enter.
Good evening.
I don't know. I just thought he could be called.
It
he
is.
could be called Grim, couldn't he?
Grimbo. Oh,
Grimbo.
Grimbo. Oh, Grimbo.
That's a good Grimbo.
Happy Grimbo.
Oh, right. This is tight. This is very close. The answer was what was it, Dav?
Manny Calavera.
It is Manny, also known as Manny. Manuel Calavera.
Manuel Calavera.
That means the final score is 5-4 to Daf Weeks.
Fuck.
This means it's the
I
first.
got fucked by the Wheel of Fortune.
Yes, you did. It was fortunate for me.
That actually means that Daf Weeks, it's your first win.
Woo!
First win of the year. I'm just adding the score, but yeah, 5-4.
I thought you were saying first win ever for a second.
First win ever.
I'm sure I've won one.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure.
Erased it from our minds. That is the end of podcast number 48. Thank you very much for listening today. If you enjoyed the show, then please follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Tell your friends and give us a review or comment because it really would mean the world to us. And if you'd like to support us, then please go ahead and check out our Patreon page, Video Games Ahoy. You can pay £1, £5, £10, or anything you'd like. We have just started putting out the older episodes of the Hall of Fame, which are always a lot of fun. We haven't had many controversial ones recently, have we? In fact, the last one was probably the least controversial one, where everyone was just like, "Yes, I agree with these choices." Yes, yes. It was far too civil.
Very civil.
It's but yeah, it's a lot of fun. So check those out. I think episodes 1 and 2 are up, and we're up to number 6. So if you do want to check out up to number 6, you just have to pay £1 a month. That's it. You're done. And if you want to check out Greenman Gaming as well, there's a link in the description because we're associated with them somehow. They want. We're affiliated with Greenman Gaming. They thought we're cool cats and kittens, and yeah. So check them out. Again.
A timely Carol Baskin reference there, Johnny.
It's because we were talking about it on stream earlier, saying it's a year ago since that whole TV
that's
show.
mad.
It's crazy. So yeah,
I heard apparently they're doing. Why are we talking about this on the podcast?
It's important, Zach.
It's important. Apparently they're doing. There's a UK version coming.
Really?
Yeah, like it's some. I don't know how that'll work, but that's what I read.
Is it Pig King versus Seaman?
Yeah. And that's the show. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Seaman did it. But if you'd like to check out our Discord as well, there's another link in the description, and we're all streaming at the moment. So check us out there. And like I said, finally, we are going to do a 50th episode of the podcast over on Twitch on April the 7th. So come say hi. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll try and stretch it out over 2 hours and just have a lot of fun. Otherwise, that's it. This is Video Games Ahoy, and we'll see you next week.
Ahoy.
Ahoy.